I still like that guy. He's like the original grumpy old man. Sick of your shit. Oh, hi. Hi, everybody. Welcome to From One Side to the Other. I am your host, Kristoff N. Got the bishop in the corner. We have a vacant space where a certain somebody was supposed to be. I knew he was going to show up. Because tonight, I don't really have a specific topic. I wanted to hang out with you guys and talk, and he would be incredibly helpful actually in that scenario with his ability to interrupt and just interject at any point in time, except when he's not present, of course. Of course. Hey, buddy. You know what? You get the Jesus spot. We can't see you behind Famines. No. Can you call it a fat head when it's a clearly emaciated zombie dog? She is like the opposite of it. What's the opposite of a fat head?
A thin head? Thin bone.
Oh, geez. That brings to mind something, actually. Hello, Mr. Bishop. Hello, Connie. Since we're just talking about random whatever the hell pops into my head, help me out here. Do you remember a horror movie called Eraserhead?
Why are you talking about that?
My sister claimed that movie messed with her head so bad.
Oh, that movie's horrible.
Oh, so it is real.
Yes, it's probably like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's like such a nightmare.
Wait, do you mean bad?
I mean, it's well made.
I was going to say, like, what do you mean bad? Because, like, bad... You ever notice that? We've reached a point of criticism where movies being bad in a weird way can be good.
I've told you about Eraserhead. It's such a... I don't know.
What is it even about?
No one knows.
Oh, wow, isn't that interesting? Hi, Mom. Love you, too. But yeah, no, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have a topic on hand. We're just kind of hanging out tonight. So actually, I was doing some research on something. So our dear friend, the Black Lily, who, by the way, still has a shop up on, is it called Meta now or Facebook?
No.
I think it's still called Facebook. I think Meta is like a different thing.
I typed in Facebook the other day, and it's still Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, she has a shop up on the, what is it called? Facebook Fronts or something like that? Anyway, she was talking to me the other day, and I have to admit, when she was talking to me about this, I kind of was like, okay, calm down. Don't get yourself upset and excited over something. Okay. One of her favorite Bigfoot stories is the Mount St. Helens eruption. Now, Mount St. Helens was a terrible tragedy. I think it was. What was the big volcano here in America? That was St. Helens, wasn't it?
St. Helens, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I was gonna be annoyed. Well, of course, Bigfoot is real. I'm saying this is like a story that she loves to tell and bring up. And the scary thing is that at first it was like, okay, yeah, that's definitely a conspiracy theory. Well, I made the mistake of stopping and thinking about it actually, and I have discovered something of a rabbit hole. So, Mount St. Helens was this horrible eruption. Lots of people were caught in the blast. If I recall correctly, not many people died, though. Was anyone killed by St. Helens?
Yeah, like 39 people, which is pretty big for American volcano.
Yeah, but, like, compared to, like, oh, God, hundreds, thousands were killed in a wildfire across Colorado last year, or something. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. But anyway...
57 people were killed.
That's really tragic, but pretty small for a disaster, I'd argue. Boy, I bet people just love me. Anyway, though, so a story that's kind of always been whispered in the aftermath of the eruption of Mount St. Helens is that there were government agents that arrived in the aftermath as part of the assistance Because, I mean, there were rescues, there was obviously fire crews, there was all kinds of work to be done around the mountain. And there were these government dudes. Now, the story gets kind of creepy and weird because a lot of the search and rescue, even national park rangers, and I mean like ranger. I'm not talking about, Ranger Smith down there in the corner. No. We're talking about like, you know, what's the term? National Guard kind of people. And they've said that they explicitly were told by these government agents, stay out of our way, stay away from us, don't interfere. Because they are under special protections. What they were referring to, the they in question, were Bigfoot. What is the plural of Bigfoot? Do you call them big feet?
Big, I guess.
I guess. Apparently, allegedly, and you guys will tell me if a red dot starts showing up on my forehead, right, guys?
Yeah.
You guys got my back.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, supposedly these were full-blown FBI, CIA types that were there explicitly to basically keep these Bigfoot secret and make sure that nobody saw any of their bodies. Supposedly they had some that they were actually treating, like in a little makeshift medical bay thing. And it was all kept quiet. People were threatened. Hey, for all we know, some people may have taken one of those long walks. You know what I'm talking about? Hi, Tara. But it was all done to keep people from seeing that there were Bigfoot that were wounded or killed in the eruption. Now, that sounds like something the FBI would do, threaten people about Bigfoot, sure. It gets so much weirder and so much more unsettling. And the thing is at first I brushed this off. I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds like par for the course for a conspiracy theory. And then it started making sense. And I'm reminded, what was it, like 2-3 weeks ago we were talking about conspiracies? But anyway, now, there's always speculation of, well, why would they hide X? Why would they hide aliens? Why would they hide mermaids? Why would they hide Bigfoot? Why wouldn't they let us know about it? Now, the common answer, and by the way, I'm going to bring this up. We're diving into a rabbit hole, so I hope you got some tinfoil, and I'm probably going to say some stuff that is going to insult or offend some people. I know, me being offensive. Can you imagine? So the common explanation for the whole why don't they just tell us about it is usually, as a lot of things are nowadays, it's blamed on religious people. Well, Bigfoot would contradict the Bible and the creation story, so creationists would be angered and want to destroy them or something. Aliens would contradict the Quran, and therefore Muslims would want to destroy them because they would be considered a type of demon or something. Mermaids are contradictory to the Torah, so if we mentioned them, the Jews would get angry. Yada yada yada. Which, by the way, I'm just gonna bring this up. This is a example of, typical bread and butter modern social media. Everything religious is bad. Except for your religion. Don't worry, it's cool. You know what I mean? And I remember this. I remember, like, when I was a baby in the 80s, but I kind of got to see the ripple effect, I got to watch the reruns of the old 80s shows. Knights used to be these cool, awesome heroes that were like Superman in plate armor, pretty much. And now you mention them and suddenly they were just pawns and minions of the church. They were brutalists, they were evil, they were totalitarian, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't mind such an obvious attempt to rewrite history if it wasn't so painfully obvious and just boring at this point. You know what I mean? Like the titty tickler priest jokes. It's like, yeah, they were funny, but can we get something new? If you don't like religion, that's perfectly fine, but could you maybe have some new material if you're not going to shut up about it? But anyway, back to my point. This is in Smokescreen. I mean, hell, lots of Christians will tell you they believe in Bigfoot. And they look for him. And while no, there's no Bigfoot in the Bible, I have to ask, and this again might seem like a dig, but what's the verse where it says there are no Bigfoot? You know what I mean? It's like, it's one of those things, it's like, just because two things are separated doesn't mean they contradict each other, per se. Hi, Dad. Bishop, okay, that's a fair argument. Common folk couldn't handle it. It would be mind-breaking. I personally, I don't know, maybe I'm a boundless optimist. I think people are a little bit stronger than that. Unless you pitch it to be scary. Like if the media basically gave aliens the COVID treatment, oh yeah, then there'd be panic. Then people would freak out and want to destroy aliens and stuff like that. But if it was just like, if Joe Biden just walked up to the podium, there are aliens, man. They're all around here. There's one there. I do a pretty good Biden, actually. I also do a really good Trump, but only when he's angry. I only do a good angry Trump. I can't do him normal. You gotta do the hand gesture, by the way, or it loses its power. By the way, have you noticed that he doesn't do that quite as much as he used to? They mention a Bigfoot-like creature in the epic. Yeah, well, kind of, yes, actually. I agree, sort of. I mean, obviously they don't call it a Bigfoot, but there is this big, hairy ape. Was there just one or there were several? I remember that there is a Bigfoot in the Epic of Gilgamesh, but I don't remember if it was one or like a tribe. I'm super vague about my super ancient Mesopotamian stuff.
Were they very explicit about how he ran? My busted
we need Sean in here to help us with that, because he loves the Epic of Gilgamesh, if I'm not mistaken. Also, goodbye monetization that we would never get. This channel will never be monetized. No, I have such wonderful friends in the community of content creators on this platform. Excuse me, and all of them are like, you can do it, Kristoff. You can get monetized. Oh hell no. The algorithm could literally pick any one of these live stream shows we've done, and I guarantee you, boom, something. It's like, oh, hell no, we're not monetizing that psychopath.
Like making fun of the most elected president in all history of ever.
Yeah. Hey, remember the time that I said one of the most awful, murderous scientists in human history from World War II may not have been a completely horrible person? That was fun. What's that ominous glow in the distance out there? I'm genuinely surprised I didn't get any DMs on X or whatever the hell about how I needed to shut up and stuff. I'm genuinely surprised.
You get cease and desist from Fortnite all the time.
Oh my god. 3 times that's happened. I can't believe I actually feel bad for something that is essentially a manifestation of evil in the human soul. But I feel bad for Lobeless that he has to deal with this copyright shit. No, 3 times, folks, that has happened. We're getting off topic, but no. There are 3 different times that the Lobeless channel has actually been threatened with copyright actions. All of them had to do with music on Fortnite. Even when he sang a song from Mystery Science Theater 3000, he didn't get struck for that. But heaven help you if there's a whistle of a tune from a country song that was made up for Fortnite in the Fortnite game, because then you're in deep shit. By the way, his live stream celebration that he did last week, it got freaking copyright struck.
Aww.
For Lord of the Wastelands.
Why?
That's another... First of all, it's one of the best Fortnite songs. Second of all, it's their song. It's nobody else's. And, yeah. But fortunately, there's this new AI system YouTube can do where they actually just snip out the specific audio that's the problem. So it's back up now.
How did that song get struck?
I have no earthly idea. I don't know. But that was the message that I got.
You didn't even tell me about that one, but alright.
That just happened. That just happened like freaking last night. I think I got alerted of it.
That's their own song.
I know. But anyway, where were we talking about? Oh, right. Conspiracies and going down rabbit holes and shit. Anyway, this is what you paid to get in to see, guys. Don't be mad at me. If you ever are disappointed, aw. Well, Mr. Bishop, we look forward to hearing from you too, dude.
Thanks, Dad.
We actually, yeah. Kudos to him, by the way, just deciding to freaking be awesome and go and just casually get the bishop a new phone for almost $400 when literally you told him not to do it, but I guess...
I was expecting like thanks again, Dad.
I think it was my grandma told me, manhood is when you realize that you never stop needing your daddy. And that's not an insult, by the way. I swear I don't mean it as an insult. But anyway, so there's all these smoke screens about, well, they couldn't reveal Bigfoot because, the religious people would get angry or people just couldn't handle the truth. They couldn't handle Bigfoot being real. What if I told you those are complete bullshit, and the real reason that FBI agents threatened National Guard Rangers to stay away from them and to not interfere. Are you ready? This is going to make your head cave in. Was to protect the lumber industry in America. I'll give everyone a moment to go, what? No. Now hold on. Stop. Don't you click that X. Don't you leave this video. Listen. Hear me out. Everyone says that Big Pharma controls the world. It's big pharmaceutical companies, right? Here's a creepy thought. You can name big pharmaceutical companies. Pfizer, Kaiser Permanente, and those are just the two off the top of my head. There's other ones that I could mention. WebMD, technically speaking, is pharmaceutical or owned by a pharmaceutical. There's Feige's thing. He has a little, I guess it's not a company, it's a firm. But either way, my point is you can name places tied to big pharmacy. You can name the heads of this hydra. Don't look it up. Name any United States lumber industry companies. You never hear about them. I can name a few because I spent today digging them up and looking for them. And by the way, I had to dig because when I used my web browser and I typed in United States lumber mill companies, it gave me a bunch of it diverted me to like Home Depot to buy lumber. I was like, I don't want to buy lumber. I want to know where it's come from. I want to know the companies that do this. But you have to dig. Search engines like DuckDuckGo and Google actively will not tell you these companies unless you dig. You have to like ask this. It's one of those things you have to, sesame, magic words. You have to know exactly how to say it. You have to specifically phrase it to find the names of these companies. What? I know the quote, but I don't know who said it. If you really want to know who's in charge, ask who you can't make fun of. You know what I mean? If you can make fun of big pharmacy and you can say who they are, you can find those companies, they're not the ones in control. The ones pulling strings are always hidden. Now, let's play a little game for a minute. Let's say hypothetically that there was a conspiracy by United States lumber companies to conceal the existence of Bigfoot. Why? Simple answer. Comparatively speaking, they are a micro minority, meaning there are probably less than a few thousand of them in North America, total. they would be the most endangered creature on the planet. Where do they live? The woods. The woods where they get lumber. Lumber companies wouldn't be able to operate if it was confirmed that Bigfoot exists, because those grounds would need to be protected. And even if the federal government agreed to shake hands with lumber and let them do it anyway, people would be livid. People are very protective of Bigfoot, especially the people who, are convinced they're real. Okay, I knew it. I knew that our dads would be able to name a company. Yeah, and they both were able to name one. And you know what's funny? I believe you guys. I believe you didn't have to look it up. But I also believe you two are the creepy guys who would know that kind of conspiracy stuff. I love you for it, by the way, guys. I do, sincerely. But no, I'm being serious. Name a company. Can you name one without looking? I'm talking to you.
No.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm saying, like, this is...
No.
Isn't it creepy that supposedly Big Pharma controls the world? Entertainment, that's another one. Entertainment controls the world. Except that we know their names. We know the name Bob Iger. We know the name Jeff Bezos. We know... oh, God. They call him the Axeman. Warner Brothers. Zaslav. We know Zaslav. We know all these names. But they're supposed to rule the world. But you can find them. You can look up Bob Iger's picture. Google doesn't hide Iger. Google hides... I have his name, by the way. I have his name. Hold on. This is where we're going to suddenly have technical issues and we get turned off. I'm not joking. I bet you. You have to dig. Can you tell me who L.T. Gibson is? L.T. Gibson, can you name him? Which, by the way, when I typed in his name...
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, he's a hideous motherfucker, isn't he?
He has that upper teeth smile.
He does.
I found him.
Yeah. So, real quick, when I looked his name up, DuckDuckGo was so generous, to look out for me, and auto-corrected his name to something else. I had to letter by letter type it in for DuckDuckGo and Google. Google did the same thing, by the way. Yeah. Do you know him? I bet you don't. He's the owner of USLBM, one of, if not the largest lumber manufacturers in the United States. You don't know his name. You don't know what he looks like. But you know Bob Iger. You know Feige. You know Kaiser Permanente. Why is it that you have to go so far out of your way for something as simple as lumber? Because it's actually embedded, and it actually is something shady, and it wants to hide itself. Now, I'm going to tell everyone to calm down. Yep, they did. Yes, yes, Mr. Bishop. Coincidentally, around the time, I want to say before and after the eruption, isn't it a gosh darn wonderful coincidence? We needed a lumber company to go in and deforest the area for safety reasons. I mean, to be fair, yes, it probably is a good idea to get a bunch of live, burnable wood away from a volcano, but still, it's kind of creepy to actually think about it. That, yeah, it is suspicious and weird.
Logs are still in Spirit Lake.
They're still really just floating out there?
I mean, last I knew, as of like 5 or 6 years ago. It's also said to be the biggest recorded tsunami ever recorded by hundreds of feet. And that lake is like not where it used to be, just because of that eruption.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just stuff I've seen. Spirit Lake was just completely like...
Yeah, it was literally just... It literally got knocked over, so to speak.
And the water just kind of just...
But, yeah, no. It settled. But, like I said, and it's so weird to me, because it's like... Because they always joke about how you're not allowed to talk about them. You can't ask questions about them. You can't find them. But I can find Big Pharma easy. It's this lumber shit that apparently is actually protected and you have to dig for. Although I will say, now that you've seen his picture, maybe that's for our Yeah, I know, right? No wonder this dude never lets his picture get taken. I would too if I had a hideous face like that. He has the overbite of Goofy. You think I'm joking? Don't look it up, by the way. You'll probably get in trouble.
Upper front teeth smile.
Yeah, no. It's really creepy. Sorry. What the hell? What is going on? God damn it. Seriously?
What?
Did you see the message from Jesus?
Oh, yeah, he oversaw it. Yeah, he'll be here sometime, I guess.
Oh my god. We're going to be wrapping up. It's going to be about 8:30. We're going to hear a knock on the random door that's just out there in the desert. But, no, that... Put the message on screen.
Does he mean the message or the picture of...
Oh, does he want to see the picture of L.T. Gibson?
Is it L.T. Gibson?
L.T. Gibson, that's how he signs his name.
This guy.
Hold on. I have a more recent picture of him, actually, that I'll send to you. But, don't blame me. Because he actually has looked, he's gotten worse.
Oh, Mel Gibson.
Are they related? Tell me. No. We were talking earlier about the priest who's too touchy-feely. Tell me that does not look like someone who would go, "Hi there, I'm Father McNeil." If you get that joke, I apologize.
This is the guy? Throwing this guy up on screen?
Yeah, throw him up for a second. Let everyone see this guy. There he is. I apologize in advance, folks. Yeah, doesn't this guy just look creepy as shit? Don't look at those massive goofy overbite teeth. You know what he looks like? Do you remember the show Rugrats? Every character had a huge overbite because of the animation style. It's like a Rugrats character came to life and it's like, "Hey there, I want your soul. Aggravation."
Oh, no. Yes, I remember Rugrats.
That's another surreal show. You know, the weird thing is the show itself, I didn't mind it, but the intro, there was something really creepy and unsettling about it. I think it was the music.
The whole show was weird.
Oh, my mother here is bringing up an interesting point. The very name Bigfoot was coined because of, guess who? Lumber. Lumber companies referred to them as Bigfoot. Make a good 600-yard dart. Wow, Mr. Bishop. Holy crap. You know, I keep always joking, between my dad and your dad, who's the bad one? Like, who's the one we shouldn't allow to have a microphone? And then he says something like that. Of course, I'm joking. There is no bad one. I keep telling people I am so lucky. I have the greatest fans in the world. I have the greatest parents in the world. I admit that. And it's actually something kind of funny. I almost, because I want to say it was like 2 weeks ago. I was on Netter's Network. Wonderful channel, very, very lovely lady. Her and Troy are awesome. Troy's her husband, by the way. And you know, don't get me wrong, I love them to death. But they're always like, your channel's gonna grow so much, you're gonna be so much bigger than you. You're gonna look back and it's gonna be like, wow, really? I had 500 subscribers at one time. One, I don't have 500 subscribers. Two, and this is gonna sound really weird, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Maybe we need to knock on wood here. There's a part of me that's almost like afraid. You know what I mean? Like, what would happen if we had 5,000, 50,000 subscribers? You know what I mean? Could you imagine a chat like that? It's like, my mom's coming to defend Mr. Bishop. Once my dad, see, I will acknowledge, I love you, Dad, but he's kind of like a diesel Mack truck. Once that engine gets starting, there is nothing stopping him. I love you, Dad. I do, but I have to admit, you could like smash through the gates of Gondor once you get started, man. Anyway, though, what even was I saying? We were making fun of Gibson.
Teeth. That's right.
Yeah, and his hideous. The sad thing is I'm not sure he's smiling, or is that just how his face is shaped?
See, she's trying.
Now I want to defend. I wanted to defend my undead demonic. Well, not demonic. Good girl. Well, she's more of a deadite. My deadite dog. She's a deadite. Of course, she's gonna look like she swallows souls and stuff like that. There's no excuse for that, motherfucker. But yeah, no, it's... And see, here's the thing. This has been like most of my day. It's like, wait a minute. Why can't I name any lumber companies? Why don't I know any CEOs? I know people in big pharmacy. I know their names. I know names in the entertainment industry that supposedly controls the world. I even know Jewish people who supposedly control the world. Don't know the lumber companies.
I knew it.
The funny thing is that's an interesting segue. We were talking about conspiracies a couple weeks ago. Have you heard one of the most insane conspiracy theories out there that is actually kind of interesting? I don't adhere to it, and it's more of an interesting thought, the fourth age theory. Okay, I'll explain it. We'll talk about that actually, because my dad brought up knowing about Gondor before I was born.
If Sean had said it, I would say something.
Yeah.
About Gondor.
But anyway, so in the writings of Tolkien's before he passed away, Middle Earth went through various ages. There was 1, 2, and 3. First age was basically the age of creation. Everything was made, yada, yada, yada. Second age, most people refer to as the Dark Age. That was the time when Sauron rose to power, made the One Ring, yada, yada, yada. Third age is what everyone knows, because that's when The Lord of the Rings takes place. That's when Peter Jackson's trilogy takes place. If I'm not mistaken, The Hobbit is all... Yeah, The Hobbit takes place because it's right before The War of the Rings. So most people know the Third Age. Tolkien never got around to writing about the fourth. Because if there's 1, 2, and 3, then it stands to reason there'd be a fourth one, right? Tolkien only vaguely mentions it. And he says it's the age of man, when there will be the least magic in the world, but the ingenuity of man will make up for it with technology. There are people who claim... Yeah, there are people that claim that Tolkien found this weird red book and he based The Lord of the Rings off it and everything in Middle-earth off it. But basically, the Tolkien Fourth Age theory is that Tolkien's writings are true. they actually happened. It's just that we're in the fourth age, the age of technology, the age of humans. So magic is basically gone from the equation. Elves are gone from the equation. Dwarves are gone from the equation. Hobbits are gone from the equation for now. Which is kind of creepy because Tolkien does mention that there's a fourth age, which will be the age of man. And then there will be a fifth age. The fifth age will be the shortest ages, and it is what ends with an apocalypse, when basically Middle-earth will be remade. Why are you smiling? But this goes into, like, flat Earth theories, because, by the way, and no one ever knows this, everyone's always shocked, Middle-earth is flat. Tolkien specifically mentions that Middle-earth was flat. That's why they can refer to a place as the West, and no matter where you are, that's the West, or the South, and things like that, because Middle-earth is actually basically a big square. Well, not a square, a flat, what's the term, plane? A flat plane? I'm not sure what the terminology for the actual flat Earth is, because I know the round Earth is called a globe. What is a flat Earth referred to as?
Flat?
Just flat. It doesn't have a. Yeah, there were three kinds of hobbits. One of them was called Harfoot. Yeah, the fourth is mentioned in the appendices, but not again. There's not nearly as much as talked about the fourth age as the other ones. It's kind of creepy too, also because everyone always asks, why didn't Tolkien talk too much about the second age, the Dark Age? Because he didn't like talking about bad times. He felt that stories should focus on the good guys, and the Dark Age is when Sauron was rising to power and becoming stronger, so he didn't think that's where the story should focus on. That's one of the reasons he actually didn't want the Silmarillion to be published. The Silmarillion was originally basically it was kind of like a Bible, so to speak, that he wrote so he would have notes to go off of with his stories. It was never supposed to be published. In fact, they didn't publish it until long after he had died, because they knew he would be mad. Have you ever listened to the Silmarillion or read it, by the way?
I read the first, 10 pages of it.
It reads like the Bible.
Yeah, it's a technical.
It is, because that's what it was always meant to be. It was literally his notes, so that he could.
He was at the Somme, the Battle of the Somme. I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
He was not happy about
war and dark times. Yeah. And well, he also said that you shouldn't focus on the villains in your writing, because if you do.
He was on the Somme, right?
Yes, he was.
He was in both World Wars.
No, wasn't he only in the first? I thought he had retired by the time the Second War started.
I want to say he hold on, let me look it up. Served in the British Army during World War II, the Great War, most notably the Battle of the Somme. Yeah, that was.
He was there.
Tolkien, 1916.
Yep.
I want to say he was in 2 also, because he re-enlisted.
Well, he may have re-enlisted, but did they let him serve? Because Alfred Hitchcock enlisted, and they turned him away because of his weight.
World War I, Battle of the Somme, capture of Schwanben, Redoubt.
Yeah.
Maybe he was only in the first one.
Yeah, no, I think he wasn't. They didn't let him into World War II. So here's another fun fact. So, out of curiosity, who is your favorite actor from the the trilogy? Oh. See, my dad is saying that he lost his hearing because of World War I, and I guess they wouldn't let him get back in.
Oh, okay. Second World War, he was earmarked as a code breaker and he enlisted as a cryptographer, but he was informed that his services would not be required. Okay, so yeah,
They turned him away.
Okay, I am wrong on that one.
Just like Hitchcock. The sad thing is Hitchcock, Alfred Hitchcock, he wanted to fight in World War II, and you know why they turned him away? They didn't have any uniforms that fit him, because he was such a huge guy. They actually wanted him to film for them, you know, like battle reels and stuff, and he actually said no. He didn't want to do that because he would be putting, you know, photographers in danger, and he's like, well, they're not soldiers, they shouldn't be there. You say I'm not a soldier, then I shouldn't be near a battlefield.
Yeah, he was in like a really horrible battle. I didn't know it was inconclusive.
Psalm?
Yeah, it's in result inconclusive.
I was going to say, I've always heard that it was a draw, that like both sides destroyed themselves.
Well, yeah, that's basically... Anyway.
Which I would call a draw. But anyhow, no, that's the Fourth Age theory, is that, yeah, Tolkien's work is real. We're just in a point in time where we can't really see the proof. Because, I mean, to say that there are elves, you would need to see an elf. Well, they've all migrated west to Valinor. And it's funny because it's kind of it goes to show how good of a writer he was. Because like it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, I see it. The funny thing is that he always said how the biggest inspiration for his writing was actually Catholicism. I mean, you can see kind of religious reflections throughout the Lord of the Rings, you know. Various characters share similarities, you know. We've all seen the jokes about Gandalf Christ. But it's funny because that kind of came to bite him, because now a lot of people are going, well, actually, it's the other way around. Catholicism is based off Tolkien. Yeah, all ye old Templars are just like raising up from their graves. Excuse me?
Yeah, John Ford was in World War II.
Yep, he filmed.
See, I know that. Let me look up what John Ford was in. He was World War II.
Yeah.
I've actually seen bits and pieces of his footage. From Midway.
He was there?
I'm looking it up. I want to say it was Midway.
He filmed Battle of Midway?
I'm looking it up to make sure I'm right on this. But
Real quick, I mentioned, you know, who's your favorite actor from the movies, and my dad chimes in, the book. I agree, Peter Jackson, it's not a perfect adaptation, but I want to make an argument. I will defend Peter Jackson that he never seemed disrespectful with his stuff. I mean, I can see some people being like, well, he left out, you know, the Battle of the Shire. He left out Tom Bombadil. He left out this. Yeah, but compare him to, like, what they're doing in the Rings of Power. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, yeah. There's working with what you got, and then there's actively, you know, disrespecting it and changing it. But... You look kind of disturbed. You okay there?
John Ford filmed the Japanese attack on Midway from the power plant of Sand Island, and he was wounded in the left arm by a machine gun bullet. He also did a film called They Were Expendable, which I actually did a report on in school for my history class. But yeah, he was at Midway and he was wounded.
Ow. Now wait, is that the guy who became president? President?
No, John Ford, he was a director. He directed a lot of John Wayne movies.
Yeah.
My dad would know a lot more about this. The original Stagecoach.
Yeah. No, the president was Henry?
Truman.
President Ford.
Oh, Gerald Ford.
Gerald, thank you.
Yeah. No, he was right after Nixon. A different guy.
Yeah.
No, I forgot he did. They were expendable. That kind of took me back to years ago.
I was going to say, you looked like you read something really disturbing there. I was like, you okay, buddy?
No, John Ford. Off topic, he did The Grapes of Wrath.
There is no topic tonight. We can't go off topic.
How Green Was My Valley? I haven't actually seen it. Stagecoach, 1939. The Searchers, 1956. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962. Both good movies. My Darling Clementine, I've not seen it.
Oh, hi, Sean. Donson's in the chat. You've been busy hanging out with that Lobless guy. Murder machine.
But yeah, apparently he was wounded in the Battle of Midway. He was a war photographer. And
Could you imagine you're in a battlefield, everyone else has a gun and a musket, or not musket, what's it called? The knife at the end of a rifle. Bayonet, thank you. Everyone's got bayonets and rifles and stuff, and they hand you a crank camera. You're just like, oh, you guys hate me, don't you? You're so lucky there's no way to record while I'm filming, because fuck you all! Henry Ford was the car maker.
Yeah, Henry Ford made cars. Yeah, JFK was on PT-109. That boat got cut in half by an Allied ship that hit it in the dark.
Oops.
Was it in the dark? I don't know if it was dark or daylight, but yeah, his boat got...
That's how we're going to remember it.
Yeah, Tolkien was at the Psalm.
Yep. But anyway, no, I was trying to allude to, all the people who were in The Lord of the Rings, only one of them actually met Tolkien. Christopher Lee, who specifically asked to be in the movie. And the funny thing is they wanted him to be Gandalf. But he actually was like, well, I specialize in villains. Can't I be Saruman? He wanted to be Saruman, which is funny because everyone was like, oh, they put him in that role. It's like, no, he wanted to be Saruman. He wanted to. He loved playing villains. And it's kind of sad because he always had the career of, being in horror movies with Vincent Price, Peter Cushing, Peter Lorre, Boris Karloff, all of them. In fact, he did not play with Lugosi. He was never in a movie with Lugosi, as I recall, or the Lon Chaney's. But I noticed, as an actor, he became way more drawn to villainous roles as his friends passed away. And so it's always something I've kind of noticed. It seemed like he kept them close through the dark side, so to speak. I mean, hell, that's why he played Dooku. They wanted him to be Windu. Could you picture...
Don't see it.
I know, I was going to say, could you see that? Could you see Christopher Lee being Mace Windu?
No.
No. He no. But yeah, no.
So...
Yeah, Christopher
Count
Lee.
Dooku or Saruman?
Between the two? My favorite Christopher Lee role?
Yeah, because those were...
Dracula. How you like them apples?
That don't count.
Okay. Between Count Dooku and Saruman. Okay, what do I think was like the better character? Like, what's the criteria here? Hold on.
See, because if I ask better character, I have one answer. If I have better performance, I have a different answer. Better character, Dooku. Better performance, Saruman. That's my opinion.
Well, he also had he had more scenes and more to do as Saruman.
Yeah.
Dooku actually didn't have many scenes.
Comparatively, no.
No.
But if you say to the average person, Count Dooku or Saruman,
they're probably going to know...
they're going.
Well, see, the problem is that Dooku has the Clone War series too, so there's a broader chance. But I think most people would say Saruman. Dooku is special to me because that's the role he specifically did for Peter.
See,
you know what I mean? Whereas Saruman was just, well, I like Tolkien. I met him. I want to be in a movie about him. And I'm absolutely not going to play a hero, so you better find a villain role for me.
See, Count Dooku's special to me because that was episode 2. I was 13, and I knew who Christopher Lee was. He's like, oh, he's that guy who played Dracula. But then Count Dooku. Oh, he's awesome in The Lord of the Rings, Saruman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh,
see,
Count Dracula, that was actually cool, which I found out later
from
on.
little young me, I remember watching the Attack of the Clones and just thinking, dude, Count Dracula's gonna kick the crap out of these Jedi, and that is the coolest fucking sentence I've ever said in my life. By the way, he did. It literally took the most powerful Jedi at the time to save Obi-Wan and Anakin. All the people sitting there talking about Anakin being the chosen one can just kiss my ass. Dooku was literally about to turn him into a fine red mist, and that wasn't even using his full skill level.
And it only took Palpatine to bring down Dooku, kind of. I mean, Anakin did it.
Through deception and trickery, dude. And hell, Anakin couldn't even... It was the same thing as with Grievous. They couldn't beat Dooku being Jedi. They had to resort to a Sith tactic.
Yeah.
So again, it's one of those things. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. People always say the Duel of Fates from Revenge of the Sith is the best fight in Star Wars, and I respect that opinion. I could even say, you know what, if you take sentimentality out, like in terms of just choreography and the music and everything, yeah, I agree. But Attack of the Clones, Dooku, and Anakin and Obi-Wan is my favorite lightsaber battle. Mostly because, again, when I saw it, my first thought was, oh, Count Dracula's going to kick the crap out of these guys. I want a t-shirt that says that. Count Dracula's going to kick the crap out of these Jedi.
That's a good question. Favorite lightsaber duel?
Dooku, Attack of the Clones, Dooku versus Anakin and Obi-Wan. That's... you asked, I'm telling you.
That's a hard one.
It is. Hold on. Hey, chat. I'm going to make the bishop blow a blood vessel. You know the best one is obviously Obi-Wan and Darth Vader from the Obi-Wan show.
I've not seen it, so don't count. You're not going to make me mad. I'm not watching that Disney crap.
You can't see it, but he's angry. I can tell he's angry because his motions are becoming stiff and rigid, and every time he's angry, every time he gets angry, he becomes very what's the word for? Robotic in his movements. You do that when you get angry. You have very sharp, jittery, robotic movements.
I'm not watching that unless I get paid.
I don't think you could pay me. Because I have fond memories of Obi-Wan and Vader, and I don't want those to be tarnished. I'll watch videos of people making fun of it, because holy crap, it was bad. But no, I'm not going to watch that. But, no, seriously, okay. You know, I'm putting you on the spot over there in the corner. Favorite lightsaber duel?
I'm actually thinking of it.
What about you guys in the chat? You tell me, my dear Star Wars nerds. Favorite lightsaber battle? We're going all over the place tonight.
Pretty much everything from episode 3 comes to mind, but there's also Luke versus Vader, which I feel is the most...
Which one?
Powerful. Return of the Jedi.
Oh, the Emperor's Throne Room.
Okay, I want to say Luke versus Vader, Emperor's Throne Room, Return of the Jedi. Obi-Wan versus Grievous was just so fun.
It was fun, and although I will give it a mark that it's also dragged out, like half of Obi-Wan's entire runtime in Revenge of the Sith is that.
Anakin versus Dooku's great. As for choreography, Duel of the Fates, Episode 1. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Darth Maul.
Oh, dude.
By far, best
could
choreography, but not my favorite.
You could tell those three were having a blast with that. Real quick, while we're talking about lightsabers and stuff, so fun side note, in Attack of the Clones, Christopher Lee was a formerly trained swordsman. Yeah, he was a formerly trained swordsman. He knew how to fight. He knew multiple fighting styles and...
Oh, Dad, you know what a lightsaber is.
He knew multiple fighting styles, multiple stances, multiple techniques. Ewan McGregor and was
Liam Neeson.
What?
Liam Neeson.
No, I'm talking about Dooku versus Anakin and Obi-Wan. That was Hayden
Christensen.
Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor. They were not formally trained swordsmen. They were basically given a crash course, a rough run. And so the problem is, when they were filming Attack of the Clones, Christopher Lee kept actually kicking the crap out of them. Particularly bad, he would smash their fingers with his thin sword, because they were using these really thin, kind of like glow sticks almost, like very thin rods for the capture filming, so they could hyperimpose the lightsaber effect on them in the film. So he kind of fell back into using it like a rapier. Now, a technique with a rapier is to attack your opponent's hands, to disarm them, and stuff like that. So he kept smacking their hands. And at one point he was like, "I'm sorry, I'm not doing it on purpose. It's muscle memory, I promise." Now, let's flash forward a second. Ahsoka, the Disney Plus show. I know, calm down. There are multiple scenes where Hayden Christensen has duels with the actress who played Ahsoka.
Rosario Dawson.
Dawson, thank you. Now, Christensen, and before, a couple of years ago, he said that it was because of meeting Christopher Lee and getting his ass kicked so thoroughly, he himself actually did get involved in learning how to sword fight. He became a swordsman. Well, flash forward to him fighting Ahsoka for the show. Supposedly, he kept almost hitting her too. And all I could imagine is him just like hearing the voice of Christopher Lee's ghost. "Told you." Oh, God. Oh, the most legendary shot in all of Star Wars. Hold on. So, it's a famous blooper from Revenge of the Sith, where Ewan McGregor accidentally just completely cup checks Hayden Christensen.
So, Count Dooku is here, Ewan McGregor's here, and Hayden Christensen's here, and Obi-Wan pulls out his lightsaber, and as he does, he just hits Anakin right between the legs.
Upward and forwards.
And it's like one of the most famous bloopers from Star Wars.
Good night, Dad. Love you.
That wasn't
your dad knew that would get under your skin.
Yeah. Wasn't released for like 10 years, and it's just like, wow. Anakin just got whacked between the legs. I feel bad because, ow.
See, the sad thing is I've never heard it with audio. I've only seen the footage. But I've heard that he actually does, like, shout, "Dad!" or something. He shouts some kind of cuss. Because, no, that hurt.
Because the bloopers have, a lot of behind the scenes has been released for the Star Wars films. A lot of people doing the duels, they'll get their hands and fingers, like,
all the time. Especially when you're fighting an actual swordsman.
And you can look them up. People get their fingers whacked all the time, and they're like, "Ow, crap!" And it's like, "Sorry, I didn't mean to." It's like, "It's okay, let's go again."
And people wonder why the lightsaber duels in the original trilogy are so stiff and rigid. It's because they were trying to not hurt each other, and none of them were trained swordsmen.
Whereas for the prequels, they actually had a trained...
Dude, they literally made an entire unique fighting style. they actually got these trained professional swordsmen, and they basically sat them down and were like, okay, so what would you do if you had a sword that didn't have weight? Because that's the big difference between a sword and a lightsaber. A second thing about a lightsaber is that any part of the blade can cut. Yeah. A sword usually has 1 or 2 edges.
A sword you have to put power into.
You have to put force into it. You need leverage. You can use leverage with a lightsaber because if it hits something that can actually stop the beam, then you can apply pressure or leverage.
Not much can stop that beam.
Another beam and Beskar, I guess.
I mean, metal will stop it.
Slow it down. It can still go through metal. Ask your local B1 battle droid how that works.
Yeah, ask the Trek Federation security doors.
Roger, roger.
Yeah, took about 30 seconds to get through that door.
I can only imagine in that scene, there's just battle droids on the other side. Why didn't he just push the button? It has a button.
The opening scene of Episode 1, Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan are cutting through, and they even put on the blast doors.
It still doesn't work.
They're still coming through.
I love the prequels. They have their problems, I know. I never said they were perfect. I said they're sentimental to me, and I love them. Which, by the way, actually, since we're just talking about whatever, I'm going to talk about real quick something that pisses me the hell off, actually. You're not allowed to feel nostalgic. You're not allowed to have sentimentality to anything. The second you like anything that's old just because, oh shit, I remember watching this when I was a kid. Yeah, it's really flawed, but it's still special to me. You're not supposed to be okay with that. You're not supposed to like things for nostalgia or because they're sentimental. Fuck you. Shut the hell up, or I will shut you the hell up. Okay? Sentimentality is the whole way that you like anything. If you like something, I hate to tell you this, you have sentimentality towards it. That's literally what sentimental means. It means important to you, that you care about it. But things aren't allowed, you're not allowed to do that. No, you can't like the original Power Rangers. You can't watch, because that's just nostalgia bait if you talk about it. Our buddy Phoenix Press, he loves the original Power Rangers. He's always talking about it on social media. And there's always some douchebag in the chat that nobody freaking asked who has to point out, it's like, well, you just like it because you grew up watching it. It's like, yeah? And?
Well, I like the new Deadpool movie. I didn't grow up watching that.
No. But, like, anytime you want to watch, anytime something old is brought up, it's like, oh, that's nostalgia bait. And I like the prequels because they're special to me. It annoys the crap out of me because I mentioned the Rings of Power earlier, and that's the great defense here. Oh, you're just you just have nostalgia for the Jackson trilogy, or you just have nostalgia for the books. Yes. Also, by the way, Peter Jackson's trilogies, both of them, even The Hobbits, and Tolkien's books are 1,000,000 times better than the Rings of Power. Fight me, Bezos. Until you come on my show, it stands. I would not let him on my show. I would literally put a door just to block him out here in the desert. Well, of course, no two people are going to have the same nostalgia. I wouldn't want people to love the prequel series, for example, for the same reason I do. Because that'd be creepy.
My dad's nostalgia is the difference between my nostalgia.
Well, yeah.
My nostalgia is the 90s, watching 80s movies.
Yeah, his is earlier than that.
He was like the age of me. And yeah, his is earlier than that, whereas Donson, your nostalgia is Fortnite. And
Sean's still getting nostalgia. He hasn't lived long enough to have nostalgia.
The Rings of Power is just published fanfic, yeah.
Okay, real quick, hold on. I know people who I actually respect very much who admittedly do write fan fiction. Don't insult them by saying that the Rings of Power is fan fiction. Fan fiction, 9 times out of 10, is done out of something that resembles love for a product. This Rings of Power, there is no love in this. It is made by people who are jealous of the fact that they, on their very best day, could not come within 1,000 yards of Tolkien. It's the funniest thing, because it's the same thing with Lovecraft. But everyone acts like this never happened. I remember there was a time when everybody loved Lovecraft, and then suddenly he was a horrible bigot, he was a white supremacist, yada, 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 yada. We're not going to discuss how he actually denounced all that stuff and even went so far as to publicly apologize and commented that beyond anyone else, he probably had the most to learn in the world. But anyway, and all of these these so-called horror writers were quick to talk about how Lovecraft was horrible. By the way, real quick, I have a Kickstarter for a book. Yeah. And it's the same thing that's happening with Peter Jackson. Not Peter Jackson, with Tolkien. They're trying to tell you that Tolkien's stuff was bad. You never liked Tolkien's work. You never liked how the orcs were evil. You wanted them to be families and have little baby orcs. You think I'm joking? Little baby orcs. There are baby orcs in the Rings of Power, and they are hideous. I know you say all babies are hideous, but those...
They are!
No. The ugliest baby on God's green earth would look at the Rings of Power and go, damn!
There are different species of Sasquatch. Brave Star and...
Oh, yep. Tara's talking about what she's nostalgic for.
50s and 60s horror for my dad. I like 50s horror. I love the sci-fi.
Oh,
horror.
the classic Universals?
60s horror.
60s gets a little weird, but yeah. I see. That's the funny thing is, I'm older than that. I'm in the 50s. I'm from the 40s and 50s with the Universal monsters. But anyway, yeah, I love how everyone's talking about stuff they're nostalgic for. You know, Brave Star, horror movies. My mom is just dropping facts about Bigfoot. How there's different kinds of Bigfoot, just like there are different kinds of bears in different regions. I don't know if she's just like watching the show.
There's only one type of bear, and that is bear.
Sure thing, buddy. But yeah, no, there are different kinds of Sasquatch. It's not just names. There are actually differences. The same way there's a difference between a black bear and a polar bear, there's a difference between a skunk ape and a Sasquatch. Sean has nostalgia. It's just for mediocre PS3 games.
Oh, I was born in a time when I didn't even know what a PlayStation was until I was like...
Okay, Bane. Calm down.
How old? I was like 7 when the PlayStation came out.
Sheesh, I was almost a teenager when I got my first console. Well, no, okay, so when I was real little, we had a Sega Genesis. And then there was this long gap where I really didn't have video games or play video games. But it was like almost middle school when I got a Nintendo 64. And that's when I started getting different consoles and stuff like that.
You're like 4 months older than me. Basically when I hit 18, from 18 till I moved here, I didn't care about games. And then I came back here and I have this...
Now you have a gaming channel.
Yeah.
That you're going to get off your ass and start putting stuff back on.
One day.
I'm not wrong.
But yeah, growing up, Nintendo had a Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo.
There you go. My mom finally caught up with us. She has nostalgia for Scooby-Doo. Wonderful little cartoon. Mr. Bishop Pong. You know what's funny? And a lot of people don't believe this. I've never played Pong.
I've played it, but not on an original...
I haven't even played it like on an emulator or anything. I've never played Pong.
You know what, Donson?
Oh yeah, Donson, shut up. Dude, no.
Yeah,
Don't sit here and talk about age. I could bring up the times when you ran screaming out of a room not wanting to play card games because the art on them scared you.
Yeah.
We'll give him a minute to apply a burn heal because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. I guarantee he's going to chime in. What are you talking about? I guarantee he's going to try and cover his pride.
Yeah, Mr. Archaeologist. Like, can you imagine a time before phones? I can. I lived it.
I was there, Gandalf. Yeah, I love how the archaeologist, by the way, is trying to dunk on age. Your entire profession is based on age, dude.
He's trolling you.
No, he's trying to troll me.
We had Pong as kids in the late 70s, yeah.
I don't remember. Okay, I never played it. I don't remember playing it. I remember we had.
I've played it on arcade machines, but they couldn't have been original. I was a kid.
Never played Pong. Played Pac-Man.
Pac-Man's awesome.
One of my favorite. Since we're talking about nostalgic stuff, one of my favorite memories of games is actually me and my grandpa were playing Centipede on an arcade game, and we were kicking its ass. We were. And I don't know how long we had been playing, but I know it was long enough for my grandma to walk over and be like, and he literally, no, he had an absolute pro gamer moment. He didn't look away from the game, the cabinet screen. He was watching it, and he goes, "We can hear you. We know. Hold on." And here's the funny part too. He didn't blink or anything. He was like, "Yeah, we hear you. We know you're standing there. Just nope." Completely focused, still kicking the crap out of the game, by the way. And I'm just like, wow, Grandpa's so cool. And here's the funny thing. And there are like 12 people who actually have played Centipede for this long who will know this. The game fucking cheats if you get too high of a score. Okay, because now, hold on. Don't look at me like that. I'm telling the truth. This is a conspiracy. If you get too high of a score...
Yes, I saw it, Donson. But
anyway. Now, you all know the game Centipede. There are mushrooms. There are bugs that crawl along the path heading down towards you. You have to shoot them. If you get too high of a score, there are a special class of bug that come up from the bottom of the screen where your ship is. These only appear if you get a stupidly high score, and they will hone in on you like Scud missiles and absolutely wreck you 6 ways past Sunday. Oh, I was mad. And the thing is he was even like, what the hell? What? No, he literally was just staring at the screen like, what? Because you couldn't turn the ship around. I have since learned, when those guys show up, you're supposed to actually like avoid them and let them run past you and then shoot them. But this was before the internet, so think about that for a second, Sean. I'm older than Google.
yeah, Sean, there was
we had no way.
The internet, like back in the times.
We had no way to look this up or know it was coming. Just, here comes some bugs from underneath us where we can't shoot, and took us out instantaneously.
Hey, Sean, during your excavations, did you find ancient Greek internet?
Ye old Wi-Fi! The Indio Mall had a arcade. I don't remember the Indio Mall having an arcade. I remember you're talking about the Indio Fashion Mall. To anyone who doesn't live in Indio, this lore makes no sense. There was this little strip mall that was just known as the Fashion Mall because it was literally just clothing stores, and there were like 2 other kinds of stores in there. One of them was actually a toy store that sold Pokemon cards, so I would like go there all the time and get cards.
The Fashion Mall? Did they have fashion police?
Well, everyone before puberty would call the security that fashion police, but yes, actually, I guess technically speaking, yeah, no, I loved that mall. You know, it's funny, people are always like, "Would you go back to Indio?" Well, no, I don't want to get shot, but there is a part of me that would kind of like to see what became of of those landmarks. You know, like what is the Hollywood Video Store now? It's not a Hollywood Video, I can tell you that. What happened to the Fashion Mall? Is it still there as a mall, or did it get turned into something else? And at the same time, it's like, well, what if they bulldozed it down? You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to see that that vacant lot. You know what I mean? As long as I don't go there, then it's there. You know what I mean? But fuck no, I'm not going back to Indio. Hell no. Are you joking? I barely got out of that hellhole. You know, most people don't realize this, but actually, in the Bible, how it mentions Lucifer being cast out of heaven, when he was, Indio is actually where he made impact with the earth. That's why the Coachella Valley is, cratered in. It's a big, gigantic blast point where he just completely got frickin' raccooned into the ground by the Archangel Michael.
I noticed Donson's just being
Quiet now, yeah.
quiet. It's like, ye old Greek internet. There was a time before the internet.
There was. Wilson Middle School. That's where I went. That was my middle school. I knew that. I knew Wilson was gone. Hi, Bishop. Just moonwalk across the screen. I did know that Woodrow Wilson Middle School is gone. And here's the funny thing about that. As I understand it, it actually was, it was just expanded for Amistad, the retention high school that I graduated from, because I was dangerous. Where are you going? Anyway, but it's funny because I remember being in middle school, they used to always threaten us that if we didn't do well, if we failed, if we screwed up, well, you'll go to Amistad. And no one good comes out of Amistad High School. Hi there. How you doing, everybody? And now that I'm an adult, graduated, among the top 40 students of my school year, 07, now I come to find out that Woodrow Wilson Middle School is gone, and it's all just Amistad High School. They remodeled Indio. So, real quick, I briefly went to Indio High School. Didn't last long there. Very dark time, but ended up going to Amistad, and I think that was for the best anyway. But, no, I didn't know that they remodeled it. That's another one. I don't know if I'd want to go see Indio High School. I didn't have much love lost for it to begin with, but, maybe it's better as a memory. Oh yeah, you're being censored, Donson, because you wished violence. Yeah, that timely internet cutout. Donson can't respond because he's being censored for wishing violence on us.
Oh, yeah.
Convenient timing, right?
Oh, yeah, Donson.
Those guys in the bushes are messing with him. Because I know you a-holes work for the CIA. I see you out there.
Yeah.
Jerks. Anyway. So.
He just hasn't thought of a comeback yet. And
Well,
the funny thing is, my comeback sucks, so what does that say? Donson.
I was genuinely worried when he was visiting and I had to leave you two alone. I was like, I'm going to come home to frickin' Thunderdome or some shit. Like, seriously.
We watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, you watched a bunch of movies. You actually got along really well.
I suspected nothing other than us getting along really well.
I did not. I was sincerely like, oh, God.
You say that about everybody I meet.
Yeah, because I worry about you. And then you two just took so well together, actually.
Oh.
We need to get him back here. After his schooling, of course, obviously.
He's coming over for Thanksgiving, right?
That'd be awesome. I hope.
Gonna work like 20 hours a day.
Oh God, Thanksgiving is gonna be terrible in the butcher block. I've already got people asking about brisket and turkeys, and it's barely September.
Where are your Palisade peaches? I'm 50 years old.
Oh my God, no, Bishop, calm down.
Oh. I work in produce. People ask about Palisade peaches. That's all I'm saying. That'll only be a week.
Well, that's.
But the tickets are.
We'll figure something out.
I'm looking to go to Denver for grad school now.
Well, like I said, we'll see what we can do. Between three people with thinking power, we got to figure something out.
And he's looking to go to Denver for grad school. That nice.
Huh. Yeah.
I mean, there is a room.
Yeah.
I want to start.
Yeah. But anyway. Well, would you look at that? We're actually getting pretty much close to our time. What has even been tonight? You know, honestly though, I think I've had fun. I hope you guys have. You know what's funny is one of the most random compliments I think I ever got was on, I want to say it was like the second or third episode of From One Side to the Other. There was this random comment of saying, this is an example of what YouTube was always supposed to be. Literally just some dude with a camera making a video because he wanted to make something. And it's funny is that person has never commented again. It was the most random account one time, and then he vanished. But I generally can say that is probably one of the nicest things that's ever been said about my channel.
I remember that comment.
Yeah, Mr. Bishop says this is fun. Yeah, I love this show. I love just sitting here talking. I wouldn't say I love the sound of my own voice, but it is fun to just sit and talk for a little while, right? Yeah, I want to say it was like one of our first episodes of this show.
I remember that comment. It was somebody, yeah.
It was so random and just weird. But anyway, thank you all for being here. What was I going to say? Oh, you want to throw up a link to the Lobeless channel? They actually got, he's over 100 people now. He's like 113, I think.
Is the live stream still up? Did he get
it? Yes, it did. It was just limited to who could see it. If you scroll down a little, you'll see it.
I found it.
Yeah, they changed the thumbnail on it. But anyway, no, it's up. We're going to try and get another video up.
113 subscribers.
Yeah, no. There's no stopping that evil bastard. And it's funny, too, because everyone's like, oh, he's funny, and we like him. He's snide, and he's mean-spirited. He's funny. He is literally evil.
I heard they were playing with, like, a completely random person.
Who ended up being absolutely insanely, like, Goku-level powerful.
And they're like, I'm not that good. Please go easy on me. It's like, oh, it's okay, kid.
He's over level 100, I want to say he was, like, triple digits. Hell, he won the freaking game for them, like, seriously. But,
Classy Cast?
Yeah, Classy Cast or something like that.
Fridge Cat?
Fridge Cat, yeah. You know, I'm proud of the Lobeless channel. He's evil. Okay? Do not fall for the charm in that dulcet voice. And of course, if you're watching this, don't forget to subscribe to us. We will be posting.
Oh, gross! There's a picture of me.
The bishop was there for that live stream.
Yeah, I remember the comment you were talking about.
Donson, we need another month long of just D&D. You know what's funny is actually that was a lot of fun to play on there and stuff. We absolutely need to do that again. I'm amazed that didn't get copyright struck. You think I'm being cynical? I'm dead serious. I'm amazed we pulled that one off. But no, that would be fun. The funny thing is my mom apparently doesn't like those episodes from Youth Games because she wants to see us. And usually we have it pointed at the table so they can see the game. But anyway, boys and girls, I have been your host for this absolutely incoherent episode. Kristoff N. Chester, my dear, faithful, undead doggos, Famine and Gluttony. Droopy is hiding back here. Just, gonna keep him here so he doesn't hurt anybody.
Oh yeah, he would never.
The bishop over in the corner.
Hi.
No Jesus.
No Halloween is those monsters.
Oh yeah, we need to start talking about monsters. It is the spooky season. Remember, all of September is Halloween Eve. Mm-hmm. And then all of October is Halloween. But no, we'll get to talking about monsters and critters.
Thank you.
Hopefully.
Donnie. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, guys. Yep.
Thank you, Donza. Thank you, everybody who's been in the chat.
Yep. Hopefully, we're going to try and actually work on getting a very special guest for a call-in. Hopefully next week. I can't promise it yet because we're still trying to put stuff together.
Thank you, Open Eyes. Thank you, Tara.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chester.
Yeah. Love you too, Mom.
Anybody I'm missing? Sorry.
But yeah, no. What should we? Yeah, my mom is saying monsters. What kind of monster should we talk about next week?
Shark monsters.
Shark monsters.
Shark monsters.
You know what we haven't talked about? We've talked about movies. We've talked about sharks. We haven't talked about shark movies. Good night, everybody. And keep checking the shadows.